All right, guys, welcome back to part 9 of our SketchUp live stream series, leveraging the power of SketchUp to really expand what you can do in Trimble Forensics Reveal. So I'm your host, Chris Lutz, on this 12-part series. This is part 9. So we're rounding it out here. So this is part 9 of 12, and we have, well, this one's underway, so we will have 3 more of these webinars after this. So this week is all about building rooms from photos. Now, last week we saw a lot of viewers on our SketchUp for iPad into Reveal. And that is a really cool feature if you have an iPad, or if you have the, excuse me, if this scene is new and you have an iPad, hey, that's a great way to go about it. But if this is an old scene, okay, or you don't have an iPad, or you don't have a terrestrial laser scanner, you don't have anything else but a few photos. That's all you've got. You just have a few photos. How do we create a demonstrative 3-dimensional model with projection, or with photo projection onto those surfaces from just a couple photographs? How do we do that? Now, the applications for this are, if this is an old case, from 5, 6, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, back before we had a lot of these really cool things that we have now to map and document. If we had these things, or if we didn't have these things back then, and we have a crime scene that is now going up for trial, or there's been an appeal, and we're wanting to do something with it, right? We're wanting to take this further. Sorry about this. Let me relaunch SketchUp here. If we're wanting to take this further, right, and all we have to work with are a few photographs. That's it. That's all we've got, a few photographs. How do we create a 3-dimensional model from that and have a model? Sorry, guys, I am not ignoring you. I'm just moving a couple windows around here, getting set up for the stream. How do we create a really good model, a 3-dimensional model that is relatively accurate? Again, this is not a evidentiary model where we're going to be able to measure to the 1/8 of an inch and be able to say with this degree of certainty that this distance is precisely, or this is 3.12 inches with a margin of error of a couple thousandths. Okay, we aren't going to be able to do that here. But what we are able to do is build demonstrative exhibits showing the approximate location of things using a photograph. And really, that's what we're doing with photographs, right? When we introduce these into a courtroom exhibit, we're really saying, okay, well, that book is an approximate distance from the wall, or this evidence marker is we know it's about in the middle of the bed from the photograph. All we're doing is making those photographs come alive in the 3-dimensional model space. So that's what we're working on. So that is this week. Next week, we are going to be doing building structure. Well, so this week is building rooms. Next week is building structures. So we're going to take what we're learning this week and we're going to apply it to outdoors. Next week, what we're going to do is we're going to roughly model an entire neighborhood. So we're going to bring in a satellite photo and we're going to take some photographs, whether from a UAV or from the ground. We'll take some or several photographs up and down this street. And then we'll place the buildings onto the satellite photo, and then we will approximately photo model them to show what an approximation of that 3-dimensional, or an approximate 3-dimensional model of that neighborhood. So if we had a crime in a front yard, if we had a shooting, or if we had something happen in the neighborhood and we needed to show approximately where people's houses were and the position of those houses, approximate locations of witnesses, that kind of thing. Yeah, we can do it from a 2D diagram, but that doesn't come alive. That isn't lifelike to us as human beings, and it isn't lifelike to the jury on a 2D diagram to see a bunch of lines and say this person was standing here and then hear them testify. So we're wanting to make the story come alive. Back I believe it was episode 3. Yes, it was episode 3 where we talked to Joshua Cohen of Fat Pencil Studio. This is the concept of visual storytelling, and that's what we're doing in court when we're presenting these cases, or when the prosecutor's presenting it. They are storytelling. They are telling the story about what happened, what was found, where it was located, telling the story of how these things got there. So what we're doing is we're making these things visually come alive, rather than just a flat, impersonal, cold graphic that may not be understandable. Okay, to get another idea of what's all coming up, I'm going to throw up our QR code. So to get the rest of our schedule here, feel free to follow that QR code. That's going to take you to our blog outlining the whole series. Next week is episode 10. Again, we're building structures from photos. So we're taking what we're learning next week and we're doing more with it next week. Or we're taking what we're doing this week, doing more with it next week. And then after that, we'll have episode 11, which will be photo placement and projections. So we're going to take those 3-dimensional structures we build. We're going to take the model we built here today. And then week 11, we are going to take the photographs and project them. So again, make it more lifelike, make it very realistic feeling. And then from there, you can go into VR. You can make three-dimensionals or screenshots from different views that are very lifelike, that come alive for the judge and the jury. So that'll be week 11. And then week 12 is an open line, what I call an open line Wednesday, where bring your comments, boys and girls, bring your comments. And what I'd like to do is just have an episode where it's ollie ollie oxen free. Whatever you bring is what we're going to cover. Okay, with that, let's get cracking here. So let me transition over here to SketchUp. And what we're using today is SketchUp Desktop. This isn't a feature of SketchUp Web. This is a feature of SketchUp on the desktop. And so you can get this with SketchUp's either Pro or Studio licensing tiers. So if you buy SketchUp Pro or SketchUp Studio, you will have the capability of doing this on the SketchUp Desktop. Let me get our source here. I'm kind of off the side of the screen, so bear with me here. I want to get this up here. Okay, what we're working with are nothing but photographs. Okay, I'm not bringing in laser scans. I'm not using any kind of LiDAR or anything. This is simply photographs. And what we have are some photographs of a crime scene. Let me get in here. Some of you may recognize this as the room we did last week, where we went in with the iPad and documented this room. Now, what we're going to be doing with this is we are going to be photo modeling only. So we don't have a laser scanner. We don't have an iPad. All we have are crime scene photographs. So we have an evidence marker A. We've got a bed. We've got a window here. And then in one corner, it looks like I took a couple exposures there. There we go. We have got, a closet door. We've got a bookshelf. Oh, we've got kind of a desk here. Sorry if it's dimming up and down. We've got the raw photos or CR3 photos in there. So we've got an open door. We've got a bookshelf. We've got a room. And so we're just going around the room clockwise here. So there we go. So there's our desk. We've got an evidence marker by the laptop. We've got a printer. We've got a filing cabinet with an evidence marker up there. So a pretty simple room. Okay, fairly simple room, but we're going to be doing some things with this on the modeling standpoint. Again, making this come alive. So here, this doesn't really resonate with me if I'm a juror or I'm somebody that has to look at this and decide where are things in relationship to one another. If we can put this into a model, even better to make an exhibit that shows where things are. So let's get at it. This is all I'm using. I'm only using photographs in this folder, nothing more. All right, I'm going to delete my scale figure here. First thing I want to do is I want to change how I am looking at this. So over on the right side of our bar here, our tray, our default tray, I'm going to go into my styles and I'm going to change my style to photo modeling. And I'll just do the photo modeling style. And what this will do is this will make my background white. And this will also, when I draw any geometry here, it'll give it kind of this white or kind of lime green color, I guess light blue color. It'll give me that to show me where my geometry is. Now, let's get into it. So I want to import a photo for photo modeling. There is a option here. There's a couple options here. The first way to do this is I can do a file import. I'm sorry, that was not what I wanted. I wanted to, file import. This is one way, is that I can click on the image. There we go, give us some more room. I can click on the image and import it as a new matched photo. That's one way to do it. Another way I like to do it is over in the default tray. I just have the match photo option in here. If you don't see that, you can go up to Window, Default Tray, and then you can choose what things you want in that tray. So I've got my match photo option in here, and for this, I just click New Matched Photo, and it's going to ask me to go find it. So I'll just browse up here to my desktop. I like keeping this out of the way just because it makes things a lot easier. All right, we're going to do the green room source, and here are my source photographs. So the first one I'm going to do, which one would I like to do first? I'm going to start with this image 2331, I believe. Yeah, I'm going to start with this image 2331. Yeah, that's the one I want to start with. Okay, what you're going to see now, it looks confusing, but go with me here. There's a process on how we do this. So the first step are these lines, these red and green lines. It means to establish our vanishing point for our photograph. And what we need are parallel lines in our photograph. So for the red axis here, I'm going to use, say, the top of the wall. Now, the best things to use are long, straight segments. I guess I could use the window. Yeah, I'll use the window because it is just a little bit longer, maybe. I feel a little bit better about the window being parallel. So I'll zoom in and pick the best point that I can. Finding that window, zoom in up here, do the same thing. Now, depending on your camera that you're using, it may have kind of a fisheye effect. So a lot of your 360 cameras, like the Oscar 360, the Insta 360, some of those are not good photographs to use for this purpose because they have that fisheye on them. They got that wide angle lens, and there is a ton of distortion in the images. Tons and tons and tons of distortion on those images. So using those are in general, a bad idea. So what I'm wanting to do here, I want to pick something on the same plane as well. So what I don't want to do is use, say, the front of this edge of this windowsill, because it's not on the same plane as the wall. I want to pick two parallel lines, roughly parallel lines, that are on the same wall. So I'm going to do the same thing here. We want it to be as long as possible, preferably a 90-degree angle. So I'm going to use the ceiling for this. My mouse is set to being awfully sensitive, so I'm kind of struggling here. Not really struggling. There we go. I'll dial back the sensitivity on my mouse. Okay. Now I need another parallel line. Now, what I'm going to use... I'm going to use the trim here. Hopefully, when this house was built, somebody, the carpenter, was having a better day than others. All right, so now we have our two vanishing points, or our two planes where things vanish. Now we need to set kind of our origin point. For this one, what I'm going to do is set it in the back corner. So roughly there. Now we're about to find out whether we picked good parallel lines, because I'm going to go up the wall, and it looks like it's just about in the corner. Heck yeah. Oh, that's right in the corner. I will definitely take that. Actually, I'm going to recess that back. Ugh. All right, I'm going to come up here. The reason is that trim sticks out just a little bit. So I'm going to use the top of the trim as my starting point, and then I'll lower the floor down just a touch to compensate for it. Now, if we're off here, what you'll see is this blue line, which is our Z-axis. It won't line up with the corner of your wall. So here, I'm just going to the right where that edge is. Okay, next what we need to do is scale it. Now, I know that the wall here is roughly 8 feet tall, and my grid, so you'll see these this green line here, this green line here, currently I have my grid set up to be 4 feet. Now, I could set it up to be 1 foot, and now each grid is 1 foot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this one here is 8. So I'll take that up right about there. Now we're losing a couple inches here because I'm choosing to go up on top of the trim for my starting point rather than down. So I'm going to scale this up just a touch more. So that 8 feet would be roughly there. And that should compensate fairly well for this. Now, I've got a couple ways. I could make a change on this. I'm going to leave it. All right, so I'm scaled roughly where I need to be. Again, if I had moved this down, and I guess I could, I can move this down to approximately where that wall would end-ish. And I come up here with my grid and scale that so that's at 8 feet. Next one I'm going to do is move that back up. Again, that trim is going to mess with me if I put it all the way down on the floor. Again, I'll make a change for this later, but this should get me pretty darn close to where I want it to be. Okay, from here, I click Done, because now my photo is positioned. Next, what I want to do is start drawing my walls. Now, I'm going to use my arrow keys. So here, if I choose my left arrow key, it's going to draw a wall on the green axis. So I'm drawing a wall perpendicular to the green axis. So I'll come up here, and I can go all the way out. Oh yeah, looks good. Now, if I want to extend this, I certainly can, but I think I'm going to leave it as is. What I can also do here is I can draw in my window. If I know that this is a portal that I want to have, I'll just draw it in. Again, we do have to work with that windowsill. We'll deal with that here in a little bit. So I've just traced in that window. Now, earlier I was talking about barrel distortion, and you're kind of seeing the effect of that here, where it's things in the middle are just kind of bowed out just a little bit. And again, depending on the lens you're using, you may need to make a few small corrections here. I'm going to move this on my red axis, and I'm just going to split the difference here. There we go. So I'm going to split the difference. Again, barrel distortion being what it is, the quality of the photograph does matter. All right, next one. I'm going to do this one on the red axis, and I'm going to draw down. This, I want to inference that. And I'll just draw that wall roughly to my corner. Next, I want to draw this wall. So I want to do that on the green axis, or on the red plane. I want to reference that. Or inference that. Come on, baby. And I'm just going to move this. So what I'll do is I'll extend it out to about here. Next, I'll select this side of it, hit M. I'll just move that down on my blue axis. There we go, and I'm roughly at the top of the trim. Again, barrel distortion being what it is. We're darn close here. Next, what I can do, I'll just draw my door in here just for grins and giggles. And again, here in a little bit, I will drop that down all the way to... Actually, I can do that now. I'm going to drop that down. So I'm going to hit M to move. And I'll go down to roughly there. Now, the reason I'm not going all the way down is because I do have that trim to deal with here. And that is, it's going to cause me some issues if I use that as my starting point. So next what I'll do, I'll just draw some lines in here to act as guides for me. Okay, to see what's going on in 3D, I've been in my photograph right now, but to see what's going on in 3D, I can move out and about, and what do you know? We've got our wall, our door, all of that good stuff. All the things, right? Okay, let's take a look at our other photographs here. I gotta get moving along. Yeah, that one will be my good one. So image 22 or 2332 is going to be my next one. We're going to work our way around here. So over here in Match Photo, I want to create a new matched photo. And I'll do 2332.jpg. And now what I have to do is I need to look at my vanishing points here. So my green axis is this wall here. So my green handles here are going to have to decide which way they go. I don't really have a good... I mean, we're going to do it, but it isn't the best practice. So what I did here, I didn't do the best possible thing ever. What I'm not doing for you guys is going, this is an absolutely perfect example when everything goes right. I'm not doing that. What I am doing is giving us the best or the worst case scenario. I did not take really good photos of this. So that we can do it without, well, you did that and it's absolutely perfect. Well, I'm working with what I got. And these were just some photographs I very quickly took. I did not spend much time on this at all. Kind of replicating what we would do in a crime scene of, look, we gotta go. All right. Next, I'm going to use the baseboard. Again, I'm picking points here. They're on the same plane. So here we're kind of seeing the backside of the window. And I'm probably going to regret my choice here. Okay, I'm going to click done just because I need to do something. So I need to take this and I need to hide these. And what this will allow me to do is look through them to the other side. So hide those. There we go. Now I'll edit my photo. And what I want to do is move this so that it lines up, and I need to scale. So again, to scale, come up here. I may have to zoom back out just a touch. I'm going to be lining that up as best I can. Doing this visually. And what I'm looking for is for the closet door and the floor to line up as best I can. It doesn't look to be too bad. I'm off just a touch. Drop it down. I think I need to scale up just a hair. And this is where the art meets the science. We will never be dead on. But what I'm looking for is the top and the bottom. Again, the barrel distortion around the middle. That's going to warp things a little bit. But again, I'm going for close. So there's my floor. There's the top of my trim-ish. And there's the ceiling. There's my closet door. Looks good. So my spacing here is correct. And I will hit done. Now, it's tough for me to get over to that other side. So I have a couple options here. The first one is that I can try drawing it here, or because I know that this goes that way, what I'll do is I'll draw my plane in 3D first. There's my plane in 3D. I'll just move that down. I want to start from here. I can be sure to get the trim and the door. There we go. So I'm inferenced, and I drew it. Now what I'm going to do is jump back into that image. So I have a couple ways to do that. I can either go to my scenes and double click, or up on the top here, I can go in that. Holy cow, I got darn close with that. I'm just a little bit off. So I'll take this one and I will move it back on my red axis. I'm sorry, on my green axis. So I'll click here and I will move back on the green axis. There we go. And as you see, our ceiling is lining up. Our wall is lining up. Our floor just a little bit off, but I can live with that. Again, a lot of this has to do with barrel distortion, so I can work with it. All right, let's work on the door here. So I'm going to draw in this wall. And look at that. We're just lining right up with our floor. Look at that. That's just mint right there. Absolute mint. Take this, I'll hit the M key, and I will move it on my red axis, and I'll just slide this down just because I know I need to go out this far. Okay. We've got that one done. Now let's do the next one. And we're half an hour into this. If you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to put them in the comments, whether you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you're watching it. Feel free to put it in the comments. If you have any questions about the process I'm using, questions about anything, please put them in the comments. Would love to chat with you guys as we go here. It's a little quiet. I'm hearing myself think, and it's kind of scaring me a little bit. All right, so we'll put in our door. Now you can't see it, it's hidden behind me. I'm sorry guys, I'm in your way. So back here behind me, right down there, I believe, in the interface, yeah, right down here behind me, is the ability to type in the dimension for this door. Let's see here, 2'5", 2'6", so this is probably a 30-inch door. So I'm going to type in 30 inches, comma, 80 inches. Enter. Nope, that should have been 82. So I'll take this, I'll just hit M, and we'll go up, and I'll say 2 inches. Enter. That's 82. This must be 84 inch. So we'll go up another 2 inches, enter. 81, we're close. Otherwise I could just manually do this. Again, distortion being what it is. I'm darn close, and we're demonstrative evidence at this point. As we zoom out, there we go. Okay, now I'm going to go to View Hidden Geometry, and I'm going to unhide all of this. I'll just right-click Unhide to make sure that stuff is available to me. And on this one, So what I want to do is this back. Actually, I want to do this wall right here. So what I will do, I think I'm going to hide all of this. Click hide. And view hidden geometry, so that's now off. All right, let's match another photo here. So in my match photo, click new. And on this one, I'm going to do the back wall here. Yeah, I think this one's going to have our best chance for success. So I'm going to click open. All right. So my red axis vanishing point is this long wall here. So where I'm getting that is this long wall you see right here. That's parallel with my red axis. So my red wall is this one. My green wall is this one. So I need to switcheroo these things around just a little bit. And what I like to do is just rough position. Now, again, I'm talking, or when I said earlier this is the worst possible case, it kind of is, because we're going to be reliant on this headboard to establish our vanishing point on the green axis, and that is not at all ideal because the person that built this headboard may not be the best at building furniture, or it may not exactly be level. Entirely possible based upon the knucklehead that built this thing. So I've got those two on that wall. I'm going to do same thing here. I'm going to use the top of the trim just because I can go from here and over, and I can pick up the top of that trim right here. Yeah, there we go. So we're starting to see that wall line up. I got that one pretty well. Let's come over here and get this one. And then we'll do we'll do this headboard. Like I said, this is far from ideal. This is not the best way to go about this at all. This is, yeah, no bueno in terms of accuracy here, or at least in terms of this is best case. So now this one, because we took this photograph near our origin, I'm going to have to do this zoomed out just a wee bit. And come to think of it, we may be at a stopping point on this one, just because I couldn't see where that one was. We may have to use a different photograph for this one. All right, I'm going to abandon this one. I'm going to say done. It's kind of where it needs to be, but I'm missing some information here. Mostly this back corner. I don't know where that is. This is a long featureless wall. So I'm going to say done on this one. I'm going to add another. I should have done this one to begin with. So for this one, I'm going to use this image 2330, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Here's image 2330. So the red axis is this one. The green axis should be this one. Again, I'm reliant on something that is far, far from ideal. And oh man, I better hurry this up. Less narration, more modeling. Okay, so what I'm looking at here is the opposite direction. So what I need to do is flip this. I think I need to flip the red axis. So what I'm going to do is flip these around. I may have to flip the green one as well. Figure out which way. And that's positive, that's negative. Hey guys, I did not get enough sleep last night for this one. Don't want that one. Green. I'll flip that to auto. I want to click done here. There's some stuff that's missing here. So view, hidden geometry, bring this stuff back. Control A, unhide. There we go. All right, let's get back into this one. I need to keep changing, keep working on this one here. So I need to flip this the other way. Ah, now I think I know what I did. Let's rotate these. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm just approximating where it should go so that I can get it roughly lined up. Kind of orient myself. Nope, I was right the other time. Dang it. Oh, short night last night. Sorry, guys. All right, let me get these moved back around here. I was right to begin with. There we go. So this door is where I'm currently standing in the photograph. And I'm going to pick these two. And I'm going to pick the ceiling. I really wanted to be further ahead than this. I spent too much time giving you guys the rundown on where things or what episodes were to come. Poor use of time. Okay. Now that I've got that in here, now it's time to move and scale. So I'll slide this over. I know my red needs to be here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hide that. And unhide my hidden geometry. There we go. So I know that the red axis here needs to be at the top of the trim. And then from here, I just scale it up. And click done because I've got something that's standing in my way here. I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to hide that, and just to get it out of my way. Double click, go into my scene. Nope, that wasn't the one. It was the door that was in my way. I'm just going to hide that. There we go. All right, so now I'm working where I need to. So from here, I am just going to scale. And what I'm looking at here is my window size. So here it's just a little bit small, so I just need to keep scaling up. Slide it over. Scale down just a touch. Line that up with my baseboard. So what I'm looking at is lining this up with my baseboard and this up with my window and that at the ceiling, that one on the floor. I have got it. So from here, I click done. Now for this is actually pretty stinking easy. I'm just going to take this, and that one. I'm going to hit M to move it, and I'm going to move it on the red axis. I'm going to move it until it goes back into the corner. Right about there. Looks about right to me. All right, my window's still there. We've got that in. That's where it needs to be. Okay. Now, I had some trouble with the other one just because of I didn't know where things were. Now, this is the cool thing. Since things are roughly laid out in a 90-degree angle, what I can do is I can now draw a plane, because I know this is my back corner. Draw this on the red axis. I'm going to go down to the floor. From that point, you know what? I'm just going to draw it out here. Next, I'll take this and I'll hit the M key. And I will move it along that axis to here. And I will take this one, hit M, and move that out to there. And now I've got the rough outline of my room. So I'm going to hit Control. View, Hidden Geometry. Select it all. Unhide it. And now I have got my room. One thing I don't have is my floor here. I'll just draw that in. And there we go. I've got my floor. I'll delete my door. I don't need that. All right, and I have now got this room roughly photo modeled. Now this is where the fun starts happening here. I'm going to take all of this, select it, and make it a group. So now I've got my floor. All of that stuff is now a group. Well, there's one more thing I need to do. So I need to come over here, edit this group. And I just need to hide these things. Click hide. Unhide that. All right. We've got this issue of this bump out. So I'm going to double click here. That'll take me back into this view. And we're going to see if we need to make any adjustments. And it appears that we do. All right. We are needing to make a couple of adjustments here. So I'm going to go back in here. Now we need to move this wall in just a touch. Hit M to... okay, before I move that, I forgot. This isn't scaled right. This image, I didn't do this one right. So this is one that we abandoned, right? We're kind of struggling with this one a little bit. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to move it because I know the planes are right and the scaling is right on the model. I just need to match the photo up to it. Zoomed in, that one should be the floor. So I need to increase my scale. Zoom back out. It's a little tough to see how I'm doing this, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to line up the floor on both sides and the scale, with this one being the vanishing point that it is. A bit more. And this one is nothing more than a guide to help me with that bump out and for texturing purposes. So it needs to go down just a touch. I should just use that key. Make a lot more sense, wouldn't it? What that one isn't scaled too awful bad. You know what? I'm just going to leave that one as is because it isn't too awful bad. All right, let's come in here. Actually, yeah, I do want to make a couple changes here. Darn mouse anyway. You know what? That's darn close. I'm just going to leave it. Okay, from here, because this isn't really all that critical, it's more context than it is anything else, so I will draw that on the face, and I will then push-pull it out to here. And we can make changes to how this is put in here, so I like that. Looks good. And now I will just select all of this and make that a group. And now that's where it needs to be. Now the real fun happens in that we have this filing cabinet. So let's get set on furniture. So here I'm going to just click up. So this is on the Z axis. I'll drag this out to where about it needs to be. What I'm doing is lining up where it needs to go. I'm going to hit P to push pull. And now I've got my filing cabinet. Now, if I need to make any changes, I can sure as heck do that. Same thing here. I can, well, let me triple click. Make that a group just so that it is now an object inside. Now, in my view, I can uncheck hidden geometry, hit Control A. Now let's see here. Now I hit Control A, or just triple click, and I will unhide those. Now in my styles, instead of photo modeling, if I want to get out of photo modeling mode, I could just go into, I don't know, just a default style for like architectural design. Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. Click there, and now I'm into a somewhat textured model that's now kind of making sense. Just connect that. Oh, I need to be in the group before I connect it. There we go. There we go. Now it's closed in. So now I have got a 3D model that is more or less where I want it to be. Now I can come in here and add trim, add some colors, that kind of thing. Here in a couple weeks, so this week was building rooms from photos. And what we did here is we took, what did we take? 4 photos, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 photographs, and we built a 3D model. Pretty cool. Now, here in the next couple weeks, or I'm sorry, it will be October 30th. So right before Halloween, what we're going to do is we are going to do photo projection. So we're going to take these photos. I'll kind of show you what we're going to do here. So we're inside of the room. What we're going to do is we're going to take, say, this wall or this surface. Don't know why. Let's close that group here. Control C. Get into the group and then edit, paste in place. So I've got it there. All right, I want to take this surface, and in the match photo area, what we're going to do here on October 30th, boy, coming right up, we have a button here to project textures from photo. And what that will do, all right, there we go. So I select that and I hit, why is that doing that? Oh yeah, it's wanting me to resize here. Sorry, my computer's a little off since I'm also live streaming and recording. It's kind of on the struggle bus here. Let me see if I can close that and bring that back. No default tray, match photo. Yeah, it's still wanting me to resize. Let me just untag that. There we go. So from here, if I want, I can click on project textures from photo, and it'll ask me, do you want to overwrite? I'm going to click yes. And when I do that, that then takes that section of the photo that is matched and it will project it outwards. Pretty cool, huh? So if I come in, not materials, scenes, I go back into that one, or nope, not that one. It's my first one that I did. That one right there. There we go. So if I want, I can also select this wall. I messed up when I did my group. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. All right, I'm just going to select everything here. Yep. Just going to explode that. There we go. Oh, I'm much happier now. All right. So I'll take and I will just remove that. And for this wall, well, heck with it. I'm just going to do both of them here. I can take these walls right here, including this trim area. There we go. Deselect that. And I'll jump back in. And this is magic. I absolutely love this. Being able to hit project from photo. Now, the trim partially visible faces. There are some faces here that aren't visible, which includes the area really behind any models and that kind of thing. I'm just going to say no, because there's some areas that just aren't visible. And because this was at the angle it was, kind of have this, this effect going. So I'm going to hit Z or Control Z. I'm going to jump back in here. I'm going to select that face, that face, that face, and I'm not going to do the rest, and hit project, overwrite yes, and now I've got the window, and I've got the door, and then from here you can go through and project out. So we're going to do more of this in the coming weeks, including dealing with the bed. Now the bed is a different animal. The only photographs we have of the bed are kind of at a shallow angle. So we're going to have some, there we go, get that back docked. We're going to have some projection issues. So what I've done, let me get this back open here. What I've done is I have taken some pictures of the bed at a more orthogonal angle. So like this, if we wanted the photographs I took or showed you up until now, they've been at a very acute angle, and they're going to do some weird stuff when we project them. Like this is going to do some weird stuff. So what I did is I took some additional photographs at a more orthogonal angle, which will then not splay it out or and blow it out. So that'll be a fun one, where we begin texturing this thing and we start making this look like more of an accurate scene. So that's going to be on October 30th when that one will come in. Okay, this model, I'm going to save this. This isn't going anywhere. I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm going to start with this. October 30th, we're going to pick this one back up, and we're going to do some photo projections. We're going to take the photograph and we're going to project it outwards. I find this to be a really cool feature in order to make our model very lifelike. However, there are some caveats. As you saw with the bed, if you've got a bed in the way, it will project the bed. So we're going to have to do some trimming around where we want that bed to go. Or another option, like you saw me do last week. I'm sorry, not last week. Last week for SketchUp for the iPad. You don't have to use those textures. You can just take a color sample and push the color if you want to. I find it handy if you've got, like in this case, mini blinds or doors or things like that, they don't have to have structure, but it's also kind of unique. They're not a solid color either, like a painted wall is. So, you could do solid colors. We could, or we could just project the texture and then deal with what's in front of it. There's a few ways to go about it. Okay, that wraps up this week on building rooms from photos. So we built a room from only 4 photographs. When we come back here in a few weeks, we're going to project, and we may just build some more furniture in there. We may do some more stuff with this, including projecting the textures or projecting the photograph onto the furniture as well. So like the filing cabinet, that one's prime for having the photograph projected onto that piece of furniture. And what do you know? We've got a pretty realistic looking filing cabinet. We've got a realistic looking printer. We've got a realistic looking table to set the printer on. We've got a realistic looking desk, all from just modeling from photos. If you have any questions, if there's something you want to know, if you have ideas for what we're going to do on week 12, that's November 6th, it'll be the last one in our series. If you have something that you want to see or an idea, I would love you guys' idea and feedback on it, because be honest with you, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be covering, but we'll deal with it when we come. All right, with that, I'm up against time, so I will let you all go. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Hopefully you found this useful. Again, if you have any questions, but be sure to put them in the comments. We will see you guys next week.